Daniel buys a home. Ryan keeps renting. They both think they made the smarter decision. They're both wrong because one of them is quietly losing money every single month and the other is missing out on something much bigger. And when you actually run the numbers over 20 years, including the costs nobody talks about, one choice looks smart at first until it suddenly isn't. Here's the problem. Most people compare renting and buying using one number, the monthly payment. But that's not the real cost, not even close. And the gap between what you think you're paying and what you're actually paying is where people lose tens, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars without realizing it. Let's make this fair. Daniel and Ryan both have $50,000 saved. They both earn $65,000 a year. Same city, same lifestyle, same starting point. The only difference is what they do next. Daniel buys a $250,000 home. He puts down $50,000 and takes a 30-year mortgage at 6.5%. His monthly payment is about $1,580. And to him, this feels like progress. He's not throwing money away anymore. He owns something. He's building equity. Every payment feels like a step forward. Ryan rents a similar place for $1,300 a month. It's cheaper, it's flexible, but he doesn't own anything. No keys, no asset, no sense of, this is mine. So instead, he takes that same $50,000 and invests it into index funds. Then he sets up an automatic contribution of $400 every single month. No stress, no responsibility, just a number on a screen. Daniel's friends are impressed. He bought a house. Ryan's friends don't really care what he's doing. They don't ask about his investments. They don't see anything physical. And on day one, Daniel looks like he's winning. But that's because they're only looking at what's visible. Daniel thinks his cost is $1,580 a month. It's not. That's just the number the bank shows him. The real cost is everything behind it. Property taxes alone are around $3,200 a year, which is about $270 a month. Insurance adds another $120. Maintenance on average is about $200 to $300 a month if you spread it out over time. Suddenly that $1,580 payment isn't $1,580 anymore. It's closer to $2,200 every single month. That's almost $900 more than he expected. Over a year, that's more than $10,000. And this is where things start to break, because homes don't break slowly. They break all at once. In the first few years, Daniel deals with a water heater that fails and costs him $1,800. Then a roof repair for $3,500. Then a plumbing issue for another $1,200. None of this was part of the monthly payment he planned for. And here's the psychological trap. These costs don't feel like regular expenses. They feel like emergencies. They show up suddenly, they demand immediate attention, and they force you to spend money you weren't ready to spend. That's why people underestimate them. Ryan doesn't have any of that. He keeps paying his $1,300 rent. No surprise bills, no emergency repairs, and that difference between what Daniel is actually paying and what Ryan is paying doesn't disappear. Ryan invests it. After 3 years, Daniel has paid around $57,000 into his mortgage. That sounds like a lot, but when you look at how much of the house he actually owns, it's only around $15,000 to $18,000 in equity. Because in the early years of a mortgage, most of your payment goes toward interest, not ownership. You're not building wealth, you're paying the bank. Ryan, on the other hand, started with $50,000 and added about $14,000 over those 3 years. His portfolio is now somewhere around $85,000 to $90,000, depending on the market. He didn't fix anything. He didn't manage anything. He just let it grow. But this is where the story starts to flip, because Daniel has something Ryan doesn't. Leverage. Daniel used $50,000 to control a $250,000 asset. So when the housing market goes up, he benefits from the full value of that asset, not just his initial investment. After 5 years, his home might be worth around $290,000. His equity could be somewhere between $90,000 and $110,000. Now it starts to look like a great decision. This is the part people love to talk about, This is the screenshot they post online. This is where buying looks like the obvious winner. But that advantage comes with a cost that most people ignore. Daniel's entire investment is tied up in one asset, in one location, in one market. If something goes wrong in that specific area, he doesn't just lose a little. He risks everything tied to that property. Ryan doesn't have that problem. His money is spread across thousands of companies, different industries, different countries. If one fails, it barely affects him. His risk is spread out. By year 10, Daniel's home might be worth around $360,000. His remaining mortgage is about $160,000, which puts his equity around $200,000. On paper, that looks like a strong position, but behind that number is everything he spent to get there. Tens of thousands in interest, tens of thousands in maintenance, rising property taxes, increasing insurance costs. Ryan's portfolio at this point could be somewhere between $200,000 and $240,000, depending on market performance and consistency. His money is liquid. He can access it anytime. He didn't take on debt to get there. And this is the moment where most people get it wrong. They look at these numbers and try to decide which one is better, but they're still comparing the wrong thing. They're comparing rent to a mortgage. That's not the real comparison. The real comparison is total cost versus total cost. Buying isn't just the mortgage. It's the mortgage, taxes, insurance, maintenance, and the opportunity cost of tying up your money. Renting isn't just rent. It's rent plus what you do with the difference. And that difference compounds over time. After 20 years, Daniel's home might be worth around $500,000. His mortgage is mostly paid off. His net worth from the home is around $450,000. That sounds like a win, and in many ways, it is. Ryan, after 20 years of consistent investing, could have a portfolio somewhere between $450,000 and $650,000. No debt, no property management, no repair bills. They end up in almost the same place, but how they got there is completely different. Daniel dealt with repairs, stress, unexpected costs, and a lack of flexibility. His money was tied to one physical asset. Ryan had flexibility. He could move anytime. His money was liquid. He didn't have to manage anything. Neither option is perfect. Buying comes with hidden costs and concentration risk. Renting comes with rising prices and requires discipline to actually invest the difference. But the biggest mistake isn't choosing one over the other. The biggest mistake is making the decision without understanding the full picture. Because the biggest lie people repeat is that renting is throwing money away. It's not. Overpaying for a house you didn't fully understand, locking yourself into costs you didn't calculate, and assuming it will always go up in value, that's how money disappears. The real trap isn't renting, and it isn't buying. The real trap is making a financial decision based on what feels right instead of what actually adds up. And the only way to know the difference is to include everything.